going to go ahead and get started. Can everybody see my screen? I've been muted. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Holly's reminding me that everybody's muted. Okay, we just want to make sure. Perfect. Great. Thank you. I just wanted to welcome everybody from the bedroom of one of my sons who is at college, but my daughter went home. She's doing in-line schooling this again, like probably many of your friends and relatives are. And so I'm consigned to a college-age boy's bedroom right now. So that's where I'm at. But needless to say, welcome, PC patients, caregivers, friends, anybody else that is joining us today. You know, it's kind of funny, the last time we had one of these was last March, and it was right when the pandemic was just starting, and kind of an eerie time, and nobody really knew what was going on, and here we are, all this time later, and so we got to talking, we said, you know, we just want to let you guys know what PC Projects has been up to all this time. And so we're going to just give you a little update, and just so you know what happens is I'm going to speak. You can stand up for about 15 minutes and then give you an update of what we've been up to, and then I'll turn the time over to Jack Padavano, who you guys have been listening to a little bit here, and then from there we'll introduce some of the members of our board that have some PC experiences, and so we'll just take it from there. And welcome. And to tell you the truth, I've been so nervous about doing this, and to see so many familiar faces and names, I love it. And Jimmy, I got your email, so I know you're on. And just thanks for being my friends and being on this. So first things first, just wanted to let you know, we've been busy. You know, and just so you know, this picture that was taken was in our office about this time last year. We really tried to be good citizens and be compliant and socially distanced. That we've realized with our work with PC Projects, as long as we have a working computer and a working phone, we can get a lot done. And so we definitely had some busy times. And in fact, Holly and I have kind of joked, you know, when everybody started shutting down and staying home, we'd see people or hear people talk about, oh, what are they going to watch on TV next? And we were like, when is the binge movie day coming for us? You know, and we say that with a smile, just joking, but we've been really pleased and happy that throughout this entire pandemic, PC Projects has remained not just alive, but thriving. We've had plenty to do and plenty of things going on. The whole time, you've seen this slide before, you saw it on our last town hall meeting, that we never forget our mission. Our goal ultimately is to fight for a cure, is the cure, that we do it by connecting and helping patients, empowering research, and collaborating with industry partners. And that's what we do. So all during this time. So I'm just going to take a few minutes and tell about what we've been doing with each area here. The first, with connecting and helping patients, we spend a lot of time doing disability assistance, and not just for disability accommodations, but we do a lot of letters explaining a person's PC, and for schools, for work, even for their own doctors who are still getting educated. We do a lot of patient support. We spend a lot of time on the phone, on emails, meetings, like things like that. And I just wanted to let all of you patients out there know that our website is just full of information. I think sometimes people join PC Project and then we get connected, we get diagnosed, all those kinds of things, and kind of forget that there's a lot of information on the website. Another big thing, a good silver lining for this pandemic is keeping us sequestered, is we've been getting a new database and an updated registry as well. That has been a huge project that we've undertaken, and it's a very important one. As you know, the registry is our lifeblood. It's extremely important to not just helping patients, but for treatments as well. So that's been big. News brief. Shout out to all of you who participated in the June Awareness Month. Yay, you guys are so wonderful. We spend probably more time with patients, researchers, and doctors than we do on social media, but if you follow us, you know we're trying, and we love the private patient book, Facebook book. We love the encouragement that our patients are giving to one another in this private group. And of course, the International PC Research Registry. In the last 3 weeks alone, Barbara, I see you're on here, you will love this. because she's all about getting it big. We've had 21 new patients in just the last 3 weeks. So they still, yeah, exactly. Thanks for the thumbs up. They still keep coming. And of course, that involves genetic testing as well. So I hate to say there's PC patients out there more than we probably ever knew, but they're out there. So if they're out there, they might as well be part of us, right? Part of joining us. I wanted to just show you one thing. If you follow us on social media, you'll see this is a post I put up recently about a patient from Malawi. We had her caregiver contact us, and we spent about an hour on the phone with this caregiver talking about how to help this patient. And if you look at the picture, you can see her little feet at the bottom and of her picture, and you know, rough times. And so we helped this girl, and we also had her case reviewed by our medical team. And it was great. You can see her fingernails, and then later afterwards, this is where, you know, she was able to get them trimmed, get some nail polish on to look pretty, feel confident about herself. Her caregiver did a lot of work to, you know, touch her nails so that the people in her village would know that she was not contagious. And so it was a great experience. And the caregiver was so grateful. In fact, she said to me, I said, I'm so sorry we don't have a cure, but she said, it's okay. I just have been so alone and isolated, and it's so nice to be connected to someone and to an organization that knows what she's going through. And so the reason I wanted to bring that up is this social media post got a lot of traction. People really liked it. You know, oh, great, we're helping a girl in Africa. But I wanted to just let you guys know, we have people all over the world all the time. And I'm not saying that to brag, but we just do. We just can't always show their pictures. We get pictures of feet and tongues and nails and skin, but we don't get faces. And we do that we only show those pictures if we can. And so you don't always see that. But I was really touched that so many people were excited about this girl in Africa, but we have other kids in Africa, and we have them everywhere. Google Translate has become one of our very big friends, and we use it a lot. And in fact, I was on a call the other day with a new patient, and she was so excited as we got talking. And then as the conversation went on, she couldn't talk. She was so overwhelmed with emotion and was weeping that for the first time ever in her life, she's an adult, that she was talking to someone that understood her pain, her embarrassment, her shame, her guilt, which is so funny. I don't know what's wrong with us that we feel guilty and embarrassed about a disease that we didn't cause. I mean, it was just, we couldn't help it, you know, but for whatever reason, we tend to hide and we get embarrassed. And so, and if you're on this call and you think that might be you, it could have been, because that's a common scenario for us. And we're happy if we can help patients that way. I just wanted to share this quote that really touched me that I received we received, PC Project received just a few weeks ago from a patient. He said, being part of PC Project has produced great changes in my life. I am 73 years old, and until 2 years ago, I did not know what was wrong with my feet. I knew they were ugly and caused tremendous pain, and I never let anyone except my wife and boys see my feet. Giving it a name and knowing the cause has made it much easier to deal with. I can tell people what is wrong and why it's wrong. I wish I knew all this when I was a kid. I think life would have been much easier. I still have to deal with the pain every day, but at least I understand why it's there. And I appreciate this, because I hate not being able to tell patients that we have a cure yet. But I hope that if we're doing some good right now, that's okay. And I put this at the bottom because I say it all the time. We may not be able to change the whole world, but we are trying to improve the whole PC world. And so that's a really important piece for us still. Part of helping patients is there's a lot of crossover as we help patients that goes into empowering research. I didn't talk about these people at our last town meeting, but these 5 individuals are our PC genetics team. So anytime a person joins the registry, this team reviews their case. After they get their diagnosis with a genetic testing, they review it as well. So we have a physician verified registry. I can't tell you enough good about these individuals. You can Google some of them. They are amazing. They are the elite people in our space, and they volunteer their time every month on a call with us and with Holly and I. So that's good. So Adele's not outnumbered, but actually she can totally hold her own with these guys. She's fantastic. And we also, so we have this regular ongoing meeting with these 5 individuals who are phenomenal. We also have a medical and scientific advisory board that we deal a lot with as well. And so just wanted to let you know that this stuff is still ongoing, and it has been all throughout the pandemic. I will be honest, this is a picture of our some of the attendees of our 2019 research symposium. And when I say I'll be honest, probably the biggest disappointment of the pandemic for me was having to cancel our meeting in May. It was we already had all our speakers coming. They had given me their talk titles. I mean, just the titles of their talks were so exciting. And when you meet in person, there's an energy that you just don't get. I mean, I swear more collaboration happens over lunch and dinner than it does even in the meetings, but a lot gets done. And so I was really disappointed about that. And yet I want this crowd to know, this crowd that you guys are looking at me or looking at the slide, know that we have been in contact with these people still. And even though we are isolated physically right this minute, we are not isolated at all in spirit and in collaboration. We know what's going on in their labs, and there's exciting things going on. And so I think that's really important that this group here, all you patients know that things are still happening in the world of PC research. Just for fun, so you know, you guys are amazing for joining the registry, because in 2020 alone, over 22 publications on PC have come forth. So that's huge, because PC research and then it gets published is huge. So know that's happening. We also participated in the American Academy of Dermatology Association virtual legislative conference. Different feelings about that, but basically we talked to senators and Congress people about PC and rare disease and the importance of advocating for that. At the Society of Investigative Dermatology annual meeting, there were 2 PC presentations. One of these presenters just contacted us yesterday and said, hey, it's going to publication. So that was another exciting thing. At the British Association of Dermatologists meeting, one of our PC posters got the Best Poster Presentation Award. And to let you all, yeah, I see you, Elaine, say, wow, I saw that. And, you know, when we pass out surveys and you guys fill them out, we don't do that because we have nothing to do. We do that because we've learned something from you, and our researchers have learned something from you, and then they want to know. And this Best Poster Presentation Award went because of some of this newer data that we received. So it's very exciting. We've actually had a few more, but we threw on because it was just the most recent one, the Israel Society of Dermatology. They had a presentation. We were the only ones with PC. And when I say we, that's not me and Holly and Jack talking. That is people with PhDs and MDs and all that stuff. So we love it. You saw, if you follow us on social media, we did participate in the PEDRA annual conference. We had a virtual booth there. And the reason we stay connected with pediatric dermatology and PEDRA is because, for one, a lot of our collaborators are there. Some of you might recognize some of your own doctors there. And of course, on the bottom of the screen, there's Jim in front of the airplane. He's our PC patient advocate that works with PEDRA for us. And so he goes to their meetings, he goes to their big meetings, but he goes to all their meetings throughout the year, which is great. But you know, as many of us didn't get diagnosed until later on in life. And so it's really important, as more publications get produced, and also, you know, babies continually to be born with PC, whether they're spontaneous or whether they're inherited. We want the researchers and the pediatricians who are in that dermatology space to be able to recognize a PC patient when they get one, or at least have a clue so they can get genetically tested. Part of that PEDRA, and it leads on to our partnering with industry, is we did a poster in collaboration with Palvella. Again, we'll put it in the news brief, the next news brief, but we want you guys to see it first, but to educate these doctors and scientists about PC. Another poster that we had was this one with, again, with Palvella. And this is really an important poster because, as you can see the title, patient-centric approach enables individuals with limited mobility to participate in clinical studies. So that's a mouthful, but basically what that means is, as TC patients, all of you who have been in the trial or who have wanted to participate in the trial have shown the world that not only do patients need a treatment, but they will participate in trials. They're here, they're willing to do the work, and then to show that not only did Palvella set up clinical sites, so you can't see, I'm pointing to my screen, clinical sites throughout the country and in Canada, US and Canada, but in the middle of a pandemic, they were able to pivot and do it almost all virtually. And you've seen this as you read our news brief. And at the same time, we wanted, that's a really important message to share. So we did let the Palvella team know we had this town hall and asked if they wanted to let us know anything. And so I know a lot of people want to know what's going on with the VALO trial update. So this is the message from the Palvella team. They are deeply grateful to the PC patients and their families who participated in the VALO phase 2-3 study. And again, echo that myself. It's fantastic to be able to say that there were patients willing doing that. And I do want to tell you, if you were a person that even wanted to be, whether you could qualify or couldn't qualify in the United States, Canada, or just if you lived in another country, thank you. We know your heart's with us, and that is just so important. So it's just a lot about timing. The VALO study has officially completed, and the Palvella team is currently in the process of analyzing the data. So right now, this very minute, they are going through hundreds of thousands of data points, getting ready for this, sorting through it all. So it just happens to be right now. And they wanted you to know that they're committed to working collaboratively with PC Project and the PC community, that's you guys, to communicate the planned next steps. And by year end, I emailed Wes last night and said, you sure year end? So hopefully they'll know. And I wanted to throw these pictures on just for fun because, well, for fun, I just want to let you know, if you're ever on a Zoom call or any call with Holly, she will screenshot you. And but we've got some really funny pictures in our collection. But anyway, she's probably doing it right now for all I know. But I wanted to show you, these are different pictures to show from different meetings to show that the Palvella team really works collaboratively with us. This is the farthest we've gone ever in a trial for PC. And I don't think PC Project could ask for a better group of people who have kept us in the loop and been with us all the way. So stay tuned. We'll be in touch. How does that sound? Okay, I am doing all of this talking. You guys are probably done with me. I want to move over to the next section of this town hall and tell you about well, not tell you, I will just hand it off to the PC Project Board of Trustees. We're going to start with Jack. You can see his smiling face. Maybe, yeah, we'll unmute you, Jack. And then he'll be followed by Barbara, who is our secretary, Katie, who is a trustee, and she's also an attorney. So we're very lucky to have her. She reviews important things for us and helps keeps us legal, which is, you know, that's one thing. It's a part of, we don't talk about it that much, but part of being a charity, there's a lot of work to keep us compliant, and we have to do a lot of things to just stay as a nonprofit. So anyway, it's nice to have Katie with us. And then, of course, then we'll be followed by Jim, who is also a trustee, and like I mentioned him before. So be quiet, Janice, and we'll turn it to Jack. And Jack, I have the next slide, but I don't know if you want me to turn it to that or not. So you tell us.
You go for it.
Well, the slide is this. Oh, I think we need to give you the power back. She gave you the power. I'm taking it back. Okay, here we go.
That's great. Can you hear me now, Jan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk today, and thank you guys for showing up. I see so many familiar faces, and it warms my heart that you're taking the time out to join us. special shout out to Dave, Helene, Lydia, Dr. Tang, Roseanne. I miss you guys, truly, and know that you're always in my thoughts, prayers, and heart. So when Jan asked me to talk about how PC Project can raise awareness and bring in more contributions, the first thing I thought about was how in the world can we make people aware of a disease that has less than 2,000 documented cases worldwide compared with 7.5 billion people in the world. Talk about diamonds in the rough. If there are ever diamonds, it's us. You know, raising money for diseases that people have heard about is hard enough. You know, and I know that because I do it every day for a living. Some of my clients like Make-A-Wish Foundation, Susan Komen, Autism Speaks. You know, Make-A-Wish, for example, raises money to give kids with a terminal illness a final wish. Komen raises money for breast cancer. Autism Speaks works to find a cure for autism. You know, most likely you've heard of at least one or two of these nonprofits and know a little bit about the diseases they work on. But PC, now that's really hard. But so is living with PC. So we know hard, and we know that hard doesn't mean impossible. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today. And how can we and the people who love us raise awareness and money for this organization called PC Project, the only organization, you know, fighting to lessen our pain by researching treatments and eventually a cure for us all. You know, there are many ways to raise money, but I want to share with you what I consider to be the most effective way for you to start raising money today for PC Project, and that's to share your story about what it's like, living with PC. You know, Jan mentioned that a lot of us don't like to talk about it. I know that from personal experience. It's hard because, you know, we're uncomfortable with it. There's a stigma to it. We'd rather talk about anything else but that. But honestly, unless we talk about it, raising awareness and the much needed funds will be absolutely impossible. You know, case in point is the FDA. Do you think the VALO clinical research study would have happened unless 9 brave panelists shared what living with PC is like in front of a large live audience with cameras rolling and live streaming the event worldwide? No way. It just wouldn't have happened. At a recent PC patient meeting, I shared with folks that it was harder for me to come out as a gay guy than coming out as having PC. Imagine that. You know, it's taken me years to feel comfortable with it. And honestly, it's still not easy. But campaigns like PC Project's Giving Tuesday, hashtag worst to first for PC, gives me a forum and specific way to do it that makes me feel supported. And that's what that slide's all about. So for those of you that haven't heard yet of hashtag worst to first for PC, it's pretty simple. PCers answer 2 questions. And they're not easy questions, granted, but we're going to ask for answers. What is the worst thing about living with PC? And 2, what is the first thing you'll do once we have a cure? Then they share those responses with people who care about them and ask them to contribute to PC Project in honor of Giving Tuesday. So I asked the questions. I thought I would share what my answers would be. And for me, you know, the worst thing about living with PC is that pain never goes away. I get a daily reminder that pain really stinks. And I can never dismiss it or snooze it. For those of you with PC, you know my pain because it's your pain. For those of you without PC, the best way I can describe it is this. Imagine your socks are full of broken glass and there's nothing you can do but stand and walk on that glass all day. If you're thinking, ouch, you're right. So my PC pain never goes away, and when I'm off my feet, I deal with the aftermath of having that chronic pain. It's awful. And the first thing I do once my PC is cured, I'll raise up my hands with tears of joy and shout, thank God for PC Project. Thank God for PC Project. You know, I give my time and treasure to PC Project because it's leading the way for the cure we pray for and desperately need. We all know that medical research for orphan diseases like PC is expensive, and the profit potential for drug companies is very limited because there's again, 2,000 of us worldwide with documented cases. But PC Project fights for us to make sure PC and each person who lives with its pain and stigma never fall through the cracks. You know, PC Project, I'm proud to say, has collected the best scientific minds in the world to pursue a treatment and a cure. And together, we're paving the way for drug therapies, which lead to clinical trials like VALO, which in turn will lead to the end of PC as we know it. You know, my dream for 2021 is not only a vaccine for COVID-19, but also a cure for PC. Wouldn't that be the frosting on the cake of what has been an awful year for so many of us? So, my fellow diamonds in the rough, please pay attention to your email this week. Support PC Project by taking part in the #Worst2First for PC campaign to help raise awareness of PC and help fund PC Project so it can realize its mission of finding a treatment and eventually that dream cure for all of us. Thanks for giving me the time, Jan.
Thanks, Jack. Appreciate that. Just so you know, a lot of those campaigns that we do have or Jack is the instigator, the creator, and that's what I love about our board. We have such a great working board that's doing so much for us. Barbara, are you ready? Can we unmute you and let you have a turn?
Sure, I believe I am unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for the opportunity to be with you. My name is Barbara Feinstein. I am one of the trustees on the board for PC Project. And my connection to PC, and I'm keeping my voice down because I have 2 kids on Zoom upstairs on their school, and one of them who has PC, my daughter who is almost 8 years old, she'll be 8 years old next month, and she is K17. We found out about her diagnosis based on her fingernails when she was about 10 weeks old, and we kept going to the doctor and asking why her fingernails had that sort of brownish, orangish color. And of course, they later came to understand that that would be the least of our concerns, as some of you know too well. I would say for me, the worst thing about living with PC, and this is particular to where we are with our daughter, is sort of the dread and concern and constant anxiety. And that is because in her case, and we're very fortunate, the worst of her symptoms probably have not arrived. We know that typically with K17 patients, when they hit puberty is when they start to develop cysts, and many of you on this call know a lot more about this, frankly, than I do right now. And that leads to, of course, issues around stigma and, you know, issues with friends and social situations and all of that. And so for me, it's really that kind of wondering of what is going to happen going forward and when will those symptoms start to manifest and what will that actually start to look like. So that's, you know, what I would share in terms of worst. First is, of course, the opposite of that is the sense of relief that I will have and, you know, lack of worrying, both with regards to what's going to happen today and in the future. And, you know, I am also just incredibly grateful to PC Project to be able to feel like I'm contributing some of my time and energy to working towards a cure and to working towards how we can be more effective in, obviously, the fundraising, which Jack so artfully leads us on. And in my sense, I am, in my day job, a member of the federal government, and obviously not participating in that capacity on this call, but have worked for many years with the U.S. Congress. So to the extent that I can use some of those learnings that I have in terms of how we can advocate more effectively for federal funding and within the various federal agencies, it's for me a joy and a real gift the PC Project has given me to be able to give back in that regard. And so for that reason, my husband and I are incredibly active every Giving Tuesday in reaching out to everyone we know, to our friends, to our full network, and asking them to give, you know, just a small amount to be able to make this possible so that we can turn that worst into first. Thank you so much. Back to you, Jan.
Thank you, Barbara. I have to say, I have so many good things to say about all of our board, but I hope we can do well by your daughter and all the work that you have done for us. I should tell you, Barbara and her husband too, what I struggle with every Giving Tuesday. They send out an email to their friends, and we get so many donations because they're friends. You know, people donate to. And I didn't mean to make this a pitch. This wasn't even part of it. But I was just thinking about that. People donate to people, you know, and I know I do. I donate to, when my friends talk about a cause they like, I donate to those causes. And Barbara and her husband send out these emails every year and tell their friends about PC Project and about how their daughter is affected. And it's been very effective. So thank you, Barbara. At the same time, too, Barbara has also connected us with some really great people. We did a document with the help of one of Barbara's dear friends who is extremely, I don't know, I wasn't prepared to talk about this, but to get us a protocol for working with pharmaceutical companies. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So that's another thing I completely forgot about. And we're also going to be working with our MSAB with this. Also, this person Barbara talked to us about has connected us with on a research agenda so that we make sure that, you know, even though we want one treatment, we would like about, until the cure comes, we'd like about 10 treatments for people to choose from. So Barbara's fantastic. Thank you so much. And then Katie, where's Katie? Katie is our board attorney. Oh, she's right there. I'm passing it to you, and I'll mute Katie.
Thanks, Barbara. Hi, I'm Katie Holmes, and I am a trustee on the board. I've been on the board for about a year now. I think just a little over a year now. And I often refer to myself in those meetings as the outlier, and it's kind of stuck because unlike everybody else there, I don't have PC, and as far as I know, no one in my family or my group of associates has PC either. But I knew about PC before I joined the board because I was friends with Holly. And so she would post things on social media, and I would look at it and just read about it a little bit and just think, wow, that's crazy. And then just kind of go on with my life. But then when I joined the board, I started learning more about PC. And just to I kind of hesitate to tell you the story because I'm going to betray my ignorance. But the first meeting that I went to with the board, I met Janice, and we got up to go into the meeting room, and she was on crutches. And I asked her, it's like, what happened? Why are you on crutches? And she's like, I have PC, which I knew she had PC, but it hadn't registered in my mind that she was on crutches because of the pain from the walking. And so that was a real eye-opener for me. And so every meeting that I've attended, I've been learning more about PC, but also hopefully bringing kind of an outsider perspective to help the board see how we can draw people in who don't have PC and don't understand it. And so we can draw them in and get people aware of it a little bit more. And I really enjoyed working with the board. They're a great group of people, and I have a lot of respect for them. And so I just want to encourage you all, just kind of echo what Jack talked about with the Worst to First for PC campaign coming up, is as much as you're comfortable and maybe push yourself a little bit, do share what the worst thing is about living with because as I have learned about people's actual experiences with PC, it has resonated with me more and helped me realize, gosh, yeah, I don't have that disease and I don't understand your pain. But I do have situations where I have been in pain, or me or a family member have had an illness that nobody knew what was going on, and it took a long time to find answers. And so on some level, I think people can identify a little bit with PC. And when they understand that a little bit, they're willing to help people and realize this is something that I can get behind and this is someone I want to support. And that's really kind of in a nutshell why I joined the PC board too. So I just want to continue to encourage you all to keep doing what you're doing, and we're pulling for you. The board is just so concerned and caring about everyone who has PC. It's just been really amazing to me to work with them and just see how much they really do care. And I just want to thank you all for letting me participate in this.
Thank you, Katie. You're fantastic. Yeah, she calls herself, we call her the outlier, but another thing, see, I keep thinking of all these other things that we've been doing. We've been working on a strategic plan, and it's so nice to have Katie, who does not have PC, say, if this is a perspective of a person that doesn't have, this is what you need to make sure you're saying so that a person that doesn't have PC gets it. So we've loved that. I'll just tell her to, right after Katie joined our board, I can't say anything, but we had to sign a non-disclosure agreement with someone. Interesting news, but we were like, wow, I've never had to deal with that before. So it was great to have Katie to pass that to and have her take a look and have that guidance. So we've just loved having Katie as part of our team. Really appreciate her. And okay, Jim, are you here?
I am.
Okay. Jim was possibly going to be on call to fly. He flies airplanes. He's not in the friendly skies. He looks like he's in the friendly basement right now. So, okay, go ahead, Jim.
All right. Well, hello, esteemed guests and everyone else, and you know who you are. I am a trustee on the PC board and a patient. Jan has asked me to be our patient advocate rep on the PEDRA. They have their own website. It's a Pediatric Dermatologist Research Association. So they have meetings and talk with them, and they kind of nice. A few people that are here or were here are who's who in dermatology, and so it's nice to have a connection to PC. We sit there in the meetings, and they've actually turned to us before and asked us questions, and it's nice to be there. I'm second generation. My father was spontaneous. He was PC. I passed it on to my daughter. It's K16. Some of you know I've mentioned that before. I think what PC Project does for me mostly is I was one of those people who didn't know anything until my daughter was born, didn't have a name, didn't have an idea or a face, and it's kind of a long story, but really like lightning struck 3 times in a row, and suddenly within an hour I had a name, a doctor, and PC Project when I found out in my mid-30s of what I had. It was pretty amazing. And it gives us hope. It does. Who knows when the future is going to come. I think if people talk about a cure, and I think by PC Project having the connections and the feelers and the fingers out there, I think something somewhere is going to happen, and somebody is going to go, I wonder how that relates to PC, and word will get passed, and I think that's how it's going to get to us. So it's definitely great to have a bigger connection with such an ultra-rare disorder, and not many people having it, to get our names out there. And by PC Project, bringing us out of the shadows, as Jack said, we don't like to talk about it. We don't like to talk about our pain, but empowering us and giving us the knowledge so that when somebody makes fun of us or our kids or laughs or makes a joke or just asks, what's that? Or tells other coworkers, that guy's got nails full of fungus or something, you can say, no, this is what it is. And you start talking to them and their face just drops like, okay. And then they never say another thing to you or about it again. So it really gives you empowerment to, shut bullies up, but to find hope and help find people. I think for me, I'll say the worst. There's a few things. One, Jan makes you speak in front of the FDA. It gives you heart-wrenching stories to pull out of yourself so that you get all the FDA people crying. But other than that, I used to think it's the pain, and I know the pain is bad, and it's on all different levels for different people. But I think for me, and what drives me is the genetics. I got it from my father, and that was bad, and I think that hurt him. But for me, passing it on to my daughter, that's what drives me, and to get something for her. Because I think when we feel the pain, for those of us who have kids with it, I think you almost feel the pain twice, because you're going through it, and we toughen up, and we live with it, and we deal with it, and it is what it is. But we don't want them to go through it. And we feel it twice. We feel ours, and we feel theirs. And I think that's worse for me. So the genetics part of it. I'll say, first, what I'm going to do when there's a cure. I wasn't thinking about throwing my hands up like Jack, but I think I probably will. I'm going to cry. So you'll see a couple of old men rolling around on the ground crying and jumping and waving our hands. That'll be it. After that, probably just, I'm not a beach person, so, sand gets everywhere, but maybe walk through the grass barefoot on a nice day. I think that, maybe every day for a long time. But yeah, I think, PC Project and what it does by having the connections and the people and the help, and we felt it if you've been to a patient meeting, and as Jan alluded to earlier, talking to somebody, and it's like suddenly you realize somebody understands what you're going through. And that was pretty amazing for me in the first couple meetings. And then I started getting involved and helping out. And I think I got a lot more out of it, even more, by meeting a lot of people on this call. In fact, Jack mentioned Roseanne. I see it was about a year ago I went and visited Roseanne. It's been a year, Roseanne. But I think the connections by being involved with PC Project, because you'll meet somebody and you understand their pain, and and you feel better that somebody understands you. But when you start making the connections and reaching out to people and having names, having friends, having family, I mean, it's almost like a military soldier with, that's been in combat, how they have that connection. We meet somebody and talk to them about PC, we have that connection. And that's what PC Project does for us. It brings us together. I think that's about it.
Thank you, Jim. You guys can tell we have a great board. I should let you know that we have another man. His name's Jason. He's a CPA, but he's our board treasurer. He wasn't able to be on the call today, but he's fantastic. He does a lot of accounting work for us, and again, for free. I should let you guys know that just about 2 weeks ago, we got 2 very impressive grants from foundations. And it was because Jason knew people. He didn't want to, we're so funny, we don't want to ask for funds, but he said, just as long as they know they know me. And of course, we did all the heavy lifting. In fact, if Julie Piccone and Roseanne, if you're on this, I know Roseanne, I saw you, if you're on this call, they wrote letters for us. And we got that grant plus another one with your letter. So yeah, big stuff. But that's the power of just knowing people. I mean, all it took was us. I mean, we did a good job. I shouldn't say we did a good job. We worked hard to apply for the grants, but it really helped to have a person on the inside just say, we know this guy, we think he's a great guy, and so we trust PC Project. So thanks for a collaborative effort for that. So that's Jason, he's great. And we also, everybody probably knows Dave Hansen. He was on our last town hall meeting. He is so fabulous. He is working with us all the time, probably more than, we're trying not to kill him off is what's happening right now. He is so busy working, doing PC-related things for us. Then he still has a clinical practice as well. Anyway, that's those 2 that aren't there. I just want to express my great gratitude to this board, but also to this community. I don't want to call anybody out, but I even see William from Brazil, who I'm not looking at your picture right now, but I saw it earlier. Maybe it's still up, but his family didn't have PC. but we were still able to give them a clinical diagnosis, and he has been such a tremendous, I feel like he's my cheerleader. He just like emails me and makes me go, okay, I can do this another day, and his family doesn't have PC. But we do think, we carefully watch what's going on with the other rare diseases that are like PC. If I can't sleep at night, I'm on pharmaceutical companies that are doing similar, their websites, seeing, oh, what are they doing in that space, and what are they doing in that space? And in turn, the people that are doing things that are very PC focused, we hope there's going to be a lot of crossover applications. And of course, I can't remember who said it earlier, even the genetic aspect, when gene therapy comes through, we're a single gene mutation, that's pretty impressive. Once that's there, there's a lot to be had. But the thing is we've got to stay here. We've got to be here. We've got to have our patients, and we got to keep growing with our registry and things like that. So the work continues, and I just appreciate you all so much. I just want